I'm not sure what happened there. I don't see my regular uploaded intro screen. I'll have to research that. It's just gone. So that's the only one that was there. Thank you, StreamYard. Yay. Timo Hane here. I'm your host, Rich. We are going to be going over the cover price top 20 for today, which is November 4th, 2024. You know, the day before D-Day in the United States. Jeez. Uh, anyway, so yeah, as you can see behind me, I did some work this weekend and got these walls back up to get as um, Katie said to me, thank you. My OCD appreciates it. Trust me, mine too. All right, let's see here. How do I get? Wow, I see Timo Hana there, and I don't know why that's there. It's like CovrPrice just kind of updated itself here without telling me what they were doing. So we got Robert Monroe. Wow, that's a big one there. Wow. Good evening, Richard and fellow coconuts. My internet is out of whack, so I won't be able to watch today. Oh, no. Hope some of the top 20 are some long-term keepers. Hopefully the ones that you already have. Yes. And Sinkerbud saying, if you didn't watch the mail call video from Sunday, which was me pulling out the stuff that I got from Comics Curing Cancer, prepare your brains for some razzle dazzle. Hopefully he means this, which took me a long day on Sunday. It's supposed to be my day off. Didn't happen. Yeah, I had the basic. This is my setup that I use at shows, and I wanted to incorporate it here inside the room, but it all had to be reassembled. And I had some help bringing the backboards. They're full size 4x8 panels, which they have a very set hole pattern to put the shelves in. And I had some help bringing them into the room. They just barely fit in here. And I went to go put them together yesterday. I realized I had a couple of them upside down. So trying in this small room to flip them over wasn't a fun day. You might have heard me swearing from wherever states you were in. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. We've got 20 books here, and I'm going to get the first one all set. And let's move this into me to the small screen and the book to the big screen because you're here to see the books, not me. Coming at number 20, we have Absolute Wonder Woman #1. This is the logo foil edition. Yeah, I don't think this was a ratio at all. I think it was just a foil, which kind of gets a premium price anyway. We have the last recorded sales value of $30. Most common raw for $20. Last sale I see here was $15 for a near mint. It also looks like pre-sales of a 9.8 for $60. Please remember, guys, on foils, a lot of times you get 9.9s. So when you get your 9.8 in the long run, it may be the equivalent of a 9.6. Just if you're okay with that and you don't mind spending the $60, go right ahead. They're going to have an easy time getting the 9.8s though because of the pre-screens. This is not a ratio variant, so near mint's going for 15. Well, it's the last sale is 15, fair market value of 20. So could be that this book is already on its way down, even though it says the current trend is on its way up. I think everybody was already on board with the Absolute Wonder Woman's and ordering it after seeing the skyrocketing price of Absolute Batman. And I think that this will settle down a bit. I had the opportunity to get this at CovrPrice, and I really wasn't even that interested in it. But who knows? I personally think it's going to come down. Number 19 on the list, we have Absolute Batman #1, the second print. This is a Mike Deodato cover, and it is an excellent cover. I do love it. Got like a grid pattern here, which didn't quite understand the way that looked, but it is a nice looking cover. It is the second printings surprisingly are up. Usually when the first print shoots up in value, everybody buys the second print. Well, I don't know if everybody bought it or not, but they're going up. Fair market value price on this is 16. Last sale at 14. Pre-sales of 9.8s at 60. I think everybody bought these, and the Deodato is too nice a print not to have purchased. So I think right now you got some people that are scrambling that didn't get it, but for the most part, I think a lot of people did. And when they start getting these back from CGC, they're going to be hitting a market that is already saturated. So I think that book is destined to come down. Number 18, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 74. This is the retailer incentive 1 in 10. Cool looking cover, very busy, very a lot of brain candy there. And it's up 10% the showing as the current trend. $17 as the last sale on the 29th of a Near Mint Plus, but the Near Mint regular selling yesterday for $20. Highest known value at 22. Now, it's not a first appearance. We do appear occasionally get these 1 in 10s from Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, they don't ever seem to hold any kind of value unless they have a first appearance of a character that means something in the future. Nothing's listed here, so I'm assuming this is going to follow the same trend as all other Sonic the Hedgehog 1 in 10s and settle back to down to about the $10 to $12 range. The Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen, makes the list, and I haven't seen any news for the next Spider-Verse movie or anything along those lines, so I'm not sure what prompted sales on this, but it's good to see her back on the list. Uh, how the prices have fallen though. 2022, a 9.8 of this would run you $2,500, and now the most recent sale is 800 with a fair market value of 752. Near mint prices are going for about 300, or about the same price as a 9.6 slabbed. Um, if you find a near mint in the wild for 300 that you know in your heart is a 9.8, then it makes sense to go ahead and do it. I don't judge my grading good enough to definitively say that's a 9.8 book. If I was honestly that good, then I would have a higher than a 50% turnaround on my pre-screens. So I think I'm hitting about. Hey, Perez, how's it going today, sir? Uh, I think that my grading average is about 40%. So in the long run, if I send in 20 books for pre-screen, I'm going to get back 9.8s. I've had better times, I've had worse times, but that seems to be my average. So me personally, I would not spend $2.99 on a near mint, which is graded between a 9.0 and a 9.4, when for the same price I could buy a 9.6 slab. If you think you know, if you think you know that near mint for $300 will come back a 9.8, and you can get an $800 book for it, it's definitely worth it. This is a book that is down in the current market. It might be a good time to pick one of these up. Spider-Gwen is not going anywhere. She's a very, very popular character. So it's not a terrible time to purchase that book. They're in between the Spider-Verse movies. I think there's a couple of different books out for her. It's a little bit more buzz generated for her, but overall, it's not like everybody's rushing out to go buy the first appearance. Next on the list, we have the Vampirella. Now, not the one that you saw last week, which is later on the list, but this one is from the same artist, same runs, issue 672. But this one has the Vamp logo here instead of I Love New York. And yes, I am actually pointing to the logo with the cursor. I'm not pointing to anything else. This is the Will Jack web store. This one is limited to 200 copies. So the other one was limited, I think, to 500. We'll see that one. Actually, I could probably. That was limited to 500. Okay, so it's just 2 books later, so it wasn't really giving anything away. Hey, Kenneth, how's it going tonight, sir? So we have $180 is the last recorded sales value of this book. It's going to be a little bit higher because it's only limited to 200. Last sale of 180, highest known raw 190. So it's selling in that range, but I think it's the same drawing, but the big difference is it has the Vamp logo and it's like a purple fuchsia background instead of the red. But the big difference, so for the other one, even though there's more copies, is it says I Love New York, which really highlights the fact that it was at the New York City Comic Con. And to me, even though there's more of them, I like that one better because if I look at this one, I'm going to be like, so did that come from C2E2? No, San Diego. No, it was New York. Which one of the cons was it? If I have the one that says I Love New York, it's No brainer. Of course, honestly, if I'm trying to figure out where she's from and I'm not paying attention to what's inside the shirt, then I got other issues. Um, this one is being driven up because of the demand for the other one, and people realizing, whoa, there's a copy there's only 200. There's a copy that's only 100 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, show more. Why are you doing that? There we go. Let's see. We have a metal version as well. It looks like that one's limited to 30. Raw value of that's 362. The New York one with the color splash, only I Love New York is in the heart for New York is in red. The rest is black and white. That's limited to 1,500. The Comic Mint. Okay, so the I Love New York in metal, that one's limited to 100. I like that one the best, actually. Even though this one is limited to 30, the I Heart New York in metal is also going for $300. But this one's on the these books have been on the list now for 2 weeks, and this one is not the one of the New York City Comic Con books that jumped right out of the gates, but this one might have the longevity because I think it's the only one from New York City Comic Con that's still on the list. The rest of them are starting to die down. And remember, I said that I would be interested in getting the New York City Comic Con one when the prices dropped. I still think it will, but not to the extent that I was looking for it to. Okay, next on the list, we have Wolverine Revenge Red Band. This is the issue number 3. It just came out last week. Oh, 1 in 25. What do you know? Now, remember how these 1 in 25s right out of the gate? $150, $100. Where's this one? $25. People have finally gotten wise and realized that these books do not hold value. Last sale yesterday, $25, and Near Mint sold on the 30th. Near Mint Plus sold on the 30th, sorry, for $30, and 9.8 pre-sold a month ago for 160. Nope, I'm not paying 160 for that when I can go get the Near Mints for 25 to 30. If that's what they're selling for, and this is a cover that you're interested in, which has Omega Red, Colossus, and Deadpool. Well, that's an interesting cover too. If you've been wanting to get one of these 1 in 25s, this might be the one for you to grab. It's right there at ratio price, $25. So it's pretty good. That's where I think all of them should have been, except for the very first one, which really was limited print because nobody ordered it. So here we go. This is the Will Jack New York City Comic Con Virgin, limited to 500 through Dynamite Entertainment. This came out on October 17th, and prices, I believe, have actually gone up a little bit here. We got last sale of a Near Mint Plus on the 28th for 180, a Near Mint regular for 178. Whoa. Oh, I was going to say a 9.8 pre-sold for 160 on the 20th. And then a couple days later, a raw sold for 260. But if they're sold for 260 back on the 23rd, now they're selling for 180. They're heading in the right direction for me to get one. Yay! I still think this is going to settle back down to the 120 to 140 range, or could go lower. I don't know. It's only 500, but now it's become an iconic book because of the I Love New York City Comic Con, and everybody wants to have at least one book from each con that holds value, and this might be the one that does it. It's the only one still on the list, like I said. Next on the list, we've got this Spawn. I'm sorry, I said it was the only one on the list. And what's the next book? Another one from New York City Comic Con. But this is the one that it came from the boxing arena. So we got the Peach Momoko, signed by Todd McFarlane, Spawn issue 357, the one that caused the quote unquote fights online. And I think that's the biggest reason why this is even still on the list, is because there was, hey, did you hear about the fight? As more and more people find out that the fight was not really a fight, then this falls back into the territory of just another signed book by McFarlane. And look, I love his work. I do. But let's be honest, the guy gives away a lot of, he gives away as many, he signs as many books as Santa gives away presents. And that, not to mention, I still think that this book looks, which is not even on the list anymore, looks so much nicer. It's not a Momoko cover. I get it, but I just think the blue and the yellow really, really pop on this. The signature really stands out. And it's also more expensive, though. $400 is the last sale on this one. This was limited to 300. Okay, so it's less copies. And actually, last sale on this of a Near Mint Plus was 309, Near Mint regular 280 yesterday. So it's in the same ballpark. I'm just not a big fan of this particular cover. I like the blue one better. And I think the signature and everything look better on it too. So me, I take the one that was limited to 300 and looks nicer than that one. Uh, I think, to me, this kind of reminds me of the Eminem book, the Eminem signed book with Spider-Man. In the long run, it came down. Just about everything comes down in the long run. All right, next on the list, The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 60, Adam Hughes, 1 in 100. All right. Now, this is the Virgin variant, okay? The regular copy, just so is, I'm going to point this out. It's one of this week's giveaways on New Comic Book Day. So make sure that you're there on Wednesday and that you go to last week's video and like, subscribe, and drop a comment of something. Oh my Lord, I haven't seen you in forever. How you doing, sir? It's Papa's Place of Ultimate Coolness. Hey, comic fam, I'm still not a fan of Peach, just amateurish. I think that there's certain covers that look amazing when she does them. Those watercolors in on certain covers just do look beautiful. But first off, if she just does a picture with no background, it doesn't work. She takes the time and does the background, and it's a cover that needs to be quote unquote beautiful. It works. Beautiful and Spawn don't go together. Good to see you though, Papa. Haven't seen you in a long time. All right. So, like I said, this is the Virgin variant. What this book reminds me of, and we have a really nice comparison here. Do you remember the other cover that Hughes did? And they had the Virgin variant and the 1 in 100. It was Face the Tiger, you just won the jackpot, as being said by Black Cat, and Mary Jane's behind her saying, "Hey, that's my line." Remember that one? Okay. That one, when that came out, was selling for a little over $100 for a raw. What a coincidence. This is selling for a little over $100 for a raw. And the 9.8s slabs are selling for $293, which is probably, that's definitely going to be a pre-sale. Now, that's selling for like $35, $40, and the slabs are selling for 9.8s are selling for $100. I know because I own one. I think this is going to follow exactly the same route, especially since I think the other cover is better than this one. If she was a guy, she'd get zero work. No, I don't I don't agree with that. So I just think of Yojimbo. Oh, not Yojimbo. Oh my God. What's the name of the damn Sakai? Sakai's work is similar. It's better, but it's similar. Anyway, art, that's why art is subjective. Different people like different things. I'd say 9 out of 10 things done by Momoko, I'm meh or less with. But 1 out of 10, I'm like, damn, that's a gorgeous cover. I'd like to see her do work on Saga. How about that? I think if she did work on Saga covers, that could really be cool. So I think this book is going to settle down to like $30-$40 for the raw, and probably 100 to 120 for the 9.8. So this one is really going to drop, in my opinion, because a lot of these books got ordered. Stores are going to wind up with multiple copies of that 1 in 100. Remember, we had that cover. We had the Doom cover. The cover A itself is beautiful. You had the Gleason cover. Wow, you had a lot of great covers on this. The stores easily could buy 200 copies, 300 copies, get a couple of covers for their in their stores, and this book has nowhere to go but down, in my opinion. Next up on the list, we have the 1 in 25 Absolute Wonder Woman. Same exact thing. Everybody knew that after Absolute Batman to watch out for Absolute Wonder Woman. Stores made sure they had copies to cover, and as a result, they're going to wind up with multiple copies of the 1 in 25, which is, let's face it, pretty good work, but not phenomenal. It's good. Not phenomenal, but good. I've seen much, much worse. I've seen better. Um, Now this is selling for 47 in near mint, 34 in near mint plus. I tend not to trust the near mint plus because I've seen books that were just like, oh, the cover's just got is completely separated, but it's a near mint. Yeah, it's a 10, man. It's a 10. And the highest known value, somebody bought a slab of this, a 9.8, sorry, pre-screen for 145. Let's just go to the near mint price, 47. JP Budget Collecting has done a lot of research on this, and we have a lot of great knowledge to pull on for this. And he's shown that if a 1 in 25, 1 in 10, 1 in 50 do not hit 2.5 to 3 times ratio value, which would put this between 63 and $75, they don't hold value, and they usually drop back down to ratio. I don't even think it's going to hold ratio. I think this is going to drop down to 15. This is going to be the era of ratio. That's what we're going to call it, the ratio era, the store incentive era. It'll be following the copper and bronze age, and the foil age, the overprinting age, the ratio age, and I'm hoping it doesn't destroy the hobby age. So we have finished the books 11 through 20. We're going to take a quick second to say thank you to all the members of our channel, whether they are the YouTube members or the Patreon members, and just quickly shout out, take a 15 seconds to shout out their names. And as soon as we get back, we'll be hitting the top 10. Hang on. Thinking about this popping in. I know there's already a great wall of comics, but you could have the green monster of comics. No, that's Red Sox, and I'm a Yankee fan, so no, I'm sorry, not going to happen. Green monster of comics. No. And I know the Yankees just dropped the ball, literally, but nah, couldn't do that. I would just say that this is another great wall of comics, but just like my giveaway box, it is the sad secondary version to Rob's Fat Stacks, who has the original Great Wall of Comics. And besides, do you see the quality of books that he has behind him? Oh, and he has the absolute best giveaway box. Let's be honest here. Okay. So let's jump back into this. We're going to hop into the top 10. And we got a nice little surprise starting right off the top 10. We've got Predator number 1. Now, the first appearance of Predator in comics. Let's see what we got on the prices here. We have a 9.8, a pretty decent price at $475, fair market value at $438. 2022, that was selling for $1,000. Near mint plus selling for $180. Near mint regular going for $75. First off, a little service announcement here. Just so you know, if anybody's looking to buy a Predator number 1, and I'm just going to pull this back up on the screen here so you can see this. This is what Predator number 1 looks like. Now, there is a second print of this book. There is no way of telling from the outside of the book if it's a first print or a second print. They look exactly the same. There's no notification. There's no barcode to check the numbers. There's nothing. The only way to check is to open the book, and where it says like the copyright, printing, and the address where it was printed, it will say second print. If you don't see second printing, then it is a first print. So beware of anybody selling this book. Like if they're selling it as a first print and they don't allow you to take it out of the bag to inspect it, be very leery of that. if you're buying a slabbed book, hopefully they CGC, CBCS, whatever, has done their due diligence and made sure it is a first printing, and it's not like you would see, or say, facsimile of Ultimate Fallout 4. um. Anyway, Predator number one. This was not the easiest book to get in a 9.8, if I remember correctly. We got over triple price for a 475, dropped down to a 150 for a 9.6. I just scored a CGC second print, the Predator number one, in an eBay auction yesterday for 77. So I have a second printing too, and I love having it. Matter of fact, I think if I was smart, I put it out. I did right there. Yeah, but mine's only a 9.0, so hopefully you got yourself a better grade than I got. um, Also, yeah, I bought a raw book. This is how I found out about all of that, the first printing, second printing. I bought a raw book and sent it in for grading, and that's how I found out that it's a second print when I got it back. I'm looking at the second prints here. I'm assuming that. Oh, okay. So you did get a 9.8. Absolutely great. Yeah, last sale was 150. So, and you got it for 77. That's absolutely awesome. Congratulations on that. Now I'm jealous. Okay, so I gotta get back to the first print. Here we go. Um, Predator is a I don't think it's ever going to go completely away in the movies. I think there's a franchise there that every once in a while they'll come up with another movie line or whatever, and this book will always have go up. This is from Dark Horse in 1989, which is not the same as popular as Dark Horse is today. So there were less printings, there was less paper quality. So again, those 9.8s, even the second printings, are harder to come by. The only thing is, I would just not buy it when it's on the hot list. This is like one of those ones you pull out your little notebook saying, in January, check to see the price of this book. I'm not aware of any movie news to know that this should be popping back up. I know we have some comic books that have them in it, like the Aliens, but uh, anytime there's news, if anything, it spikes up a little bit, it comes back down. Yeah. Wow, that is nice. Um, so like I said, I would just hold off on this. Um, or as Papa's pointing out, try to grab yourself a second printing too. All right, next that's on the list. This is interesting. All right, let me start here. This is not Wonder Man's first appearance. Wonder Man's first appearance is Silver Age Avengers. Okay. Um, However, this is his first solo series, which he didn't get his own solo series till the 90s. That tell you how much people are actually interested in it. I don't think this is the most popular character. A lot of people say that he's a ripoff of DC characters. I tend to agree with that. But we do have them coming to the MCU. Um, that being said, a 9.8 of a 33-year-old book that has a chance to spike in the future is $60. Fair market's actually 57. And a Nearman plus Raw goes for 20. Now, I know in 91 they printed the heck out of these books. $60 for a 9.8 on something that could have a good spike in the future when we see him in a trailer, that might not be bad. But I don't know. I don't know how long you're going to have to hold on to it until you see a return. You know who I wish was here right now? Larry. Because if Larry is saying, yeah, I just bought 2 copies, then I would say, yeah, because Larry's got his finger on the pulse pretty good on this. But like I said, $60 is not a terrible price to pay for a 9.8 of a book that's over 30 years old, the first solo series of a character we know we're getting at some point in the MCU, and I don't think he'll be anything in the MCU. uh, There's a rubber band to the butt book if I've ever seen one. Hey, good evening to you too. I take it you're talking about the Wonder Man. I don't think it has any room to go down. That's the thing, though, Hector. It's a 9.8 is $60. How much further can it go? I mean, I think 55, $60. If you can grab a copy of this at a 9.8, it might spike up to 90 when we get news in the future. It's not like it's ever going to be $500. I'll tell you that. And the Raws, Neiman Plus for 20. Maybe they'll go for 40 when you get casting, or see Wonder Man in a trailer. But that's about it. And you might have to hold on to this for years to do it. Eh, I don't even like the cover that much. I never liked Wonder Man. I think the cover looks kind of cheesy, but that was what they printed at that time. Eh, I wouldn't call it a rubber band to the butt because it's just. Oh yeah, I agree. A 9.8 sold in October for 30. Jeez. Uh Honestly, this is a character I never cared about. I just don't care about them at all. So it has a potential to have some kind of a spike in the future, but it's not worth laying out the cash for it right now. Nah, I guess pass. It's just it's blah is what it is. It's more blah than Halloween. All right, so coming up next on the list, we have a pre-sale. It's going to be coming out on November 27th, so you got a little time. Absolute Batman #1, the third print Akira homage sketch, limited to 2,000, which is like one per store. And we've got 9.8s already pre-selling for 150, and Raw's selling in advance for 65. Okay, now are you kidding me? I a 2,000 print book, which is a third printing, pre-selling a month in advance. I wouldn't want to get more than $20 for it. I pick up a Wonder Man in a newsstand for 50 if it crossed my path. Ooh, 91? Yeah, you're down to about 20%, 25% of the market being newsstand at that point. Yeah. And none of them being in bagged and boarded. That's for damn sure. Uh Honestly, I'm leaning more towards this being a rubber band to the butt. Jeez. Another New York City Comic Con book. But how do they have all these books as New York City Comic Con books when they're coming out 2 months after the con? That point, it's kind of like an homage. Whatever. It's an homage to an homage. $65 raw. I think it's going to be $20 in no time. And who cares what the 9.8 is? I'm not even crazy about the cover. I read somewhere that this absolute Batman book sold out very quick before it's even out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's limited to 2,000. It's not coming out till November 27th. So I guess all the books are already spoken for. Yeah, because we have 4 weeks before this book hits the stands, and people are already pre-ordering. I'll take whatever copies you can get me. So, which means we're going to see a lot more frenzy for people trying to pre-buy these. The price will probably go up between now and when it comes out. And I feel so bad for the people that pay those top prices because I'm sorry, this book is not going to hold. All right, Mark Spears, issue #1, second print, the Trick or Treat. And just so you're aware, this is another one of the books that I have ready for this week's giveaway. I love it when the books that I pick wind up on the hot list. Makes me feel good. But Yeah, I thought this cover is really cute. They it's it's a second print of the same one that had the Bridezilla, which started to come back down. Came started coming down in price. I had them at the Cartersville Comic Con. I had three of them. I was asking 35 a copy. They're now, they've gone back up. Nobody bought one. The price at that time was going for 60. I was asking 35. Nobody bought one. They're back up to 80. Anyway, this book is going for about $11, which is it's a cute book. Uh, don't know if it's going to hold value. I think that we got a lot of people buying this and wanting this because it was Halloween, and since it is so Halloween themed, usually those books drop as we get away from Halloween. But expect this one to be back on the list next year, right around the 1st of October, because people will start pick up those Halloween themed books. So $11 is not a terrible price, but you'll be able to catch it at a lower price a little bit further down the line. This is a Keen Spot book, so not every store is going to be stocking these. Venom Lethal Protector is on the list. I still haven't seen the movie, so no spoilers, please. Um, is there any doubt this is going to be on the list because of the movie itself? Uh, Highest known value of a 9.9 was 3601. 9.8's now selling for right at $100. And it's funny, I don't have a 9.8 of this. I only have a 9.6. I thought I had a 9.8. I got it mixed up with Spawn. So when everything dies down from the movie, I'm going to be looking to try to pick one up for like 80, 85, which is what I think will happen after the movie leaves the movie theater. I think it's already starting to go down because we're not getting, I'm not saying the movie's bad, but we're not getting the reviews that they wanted to get. How about that? 9.6 is 75. I think that's way too much if 9.8 is 100. So Near Mint Plus going for 34, Near Mint Regular going for 17. Or you can get those nice very fines for 26. Forgot to do that. Sorry. You guys gotta throw that in the chat when I forget to switch it back, please. So yeah, I would hold off on Venom until um maybe about another month or so. It should start dropping back down again once the movie finishes its run in the movie theater and before it hits streaming. All right, so we got one, two, three, got five left. Coming in number five, you've got Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 0. What the hell is with this book? I don't get it. Now, I've looked at this. We've got Near Mint's fair market value 18, last sale $4. Highest known value for a raw $40. I've looked through the actual sales. Okay, and what I see is 399, 399, 399, 399, 20, 20, 20, 20, 399, 399, 399, 399. What the heck? The only thing I can think of, and there's no like one ratio variant. The second print is about the same price. Everywhere I check, this book is cover price. But I'm willing to bet you that somebody got their hands on 20 copies signed by Tim Sale and was selling them. And the automatic system here on Cover Price pulled them in as regular sales instead of signed copies. And a signed copy going for $20 or $19.99 sounds legit. So if you really want to have this book, don't spend more than cover price on it. Okay. It is not a $20 book unless it's signed. Yeah, this is the second week this book has been on this list. Like I said, somebody got themselves a bunch of copies, brought them to New York Comic Con, got Jeff Loeb or Tim Sale to sign them, probably Tim Sale, and started selling them at $20 a piece. And this registered the sales as $19.99, not knowing that they were signed, and that's what did it. Absolute Batman number 1, the Nick Dragotta second print. This is the 1 in 25. It's called the Inks. So, okay. Buildings in the background. Eh. Anyway, what do we got as far as a price here? Yeah, $70 for a near mint, 150 for a pre-sale of a 9.8. Here's a 1 in 25. So this one is actually across the threshold that it may hold value. A second printing 1 in 25. I don't think these particular copies of Long Halloween were signed by Tim Sale. He passed about okay, what sorry. Well, then they would be worth even more than 20 bucks. Could they have been signed by Jeff Loeb? I don't know. Maybe he was at the show. Yeah, no, if the book just came out in 2024, he didn't, and he died 2 years ago, then he didn't sign it. But maybe Jeff Loeb, maybe somebody else signed it. I don't know. But there's got to be a reason why there's. I'm just saying, there's got to be some reason why 50 copies sold for $4 and 5 copies sold for 20. There's got to be something specific about those 5 copies that are throwing off or skewing the price guide. So I'll see if I can dig into eBay sales and find out for the next show if it's still on the list, which it might be. Okay, so getting back to this, so we have $70 or so for a 1 in 25. So it's crossed that magic line that JP's Budget Collecting was saying. I find it hard to believe that a second print of one of the hottest books would not have been over ordered, but maybe people didn't order it. I don't know. That being said, I personally would still exercise caution on this book. I mean, I would rather miss every modern book at $75 to $100 and put that money towards Golden Age or Silver Age books. But that's my collecting style, not everybody else's. We'll know more next week what the long-term look of this book is, if it goes up or down. My guess is that we're going to see this one down next week a little bit. We'll see about that. But based on the formula that JP's Budget Collecting, we may see this book actually higher next week. I'm not sure. Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman, sorry, number one. This one came out a couple weeks ago, and this book was given away on New Comic Book Day. Larry won this book, actually. That's along with some others. And let's see. This one, of course, after Absolute Batman skyrocketed, a lot of people ordered this, and it was higher, and it's come down a little bit, but you're still getting $9 to $10 for raws, and pre-sales of 9.8s. We're selling as much as 62, now selling for 45. So it looks to me that the overall the demand and the book was $4.99, so it's going for just about double price. I think the demand and the quantity printed are pretty close on this one. But $9-10, that's pretty much where it's probably going to stay for a while. You might get lucky and find one for like an 8, but I don't think it's going to come down to cover price again. Again, it's not something you're going to be buying and putting your kids through college with. Here we go. Absolute Batman number 1, the second print. This is the regular version, not a ratio. It's a blue cover. So we have $15 for the raws, and that's as of yesterday. But 9.8s pre-sold for 45. That's the last sale for a pre-sale of a 9.8. No, I mean, if that's the case, I'd rather go buy a 9.8 pre-sale for 45 than spend 15 on a raw, $30 on getting it graded, and hope I get a 9.8. I think the first print is where your best bet is to try to get a return on investments, because at this point, when the second print came out, everybody already knew it and everybody ordered it. Coming up to number 1, we've got the first print. This one came out October 9th. This is another book that I was lucky enough to score a second copy in the store and offer up on New Comic Book Day as another prize. So got one for myself. They've been selling for 20 now, and 9.8s are up to 133. I remember when they were 60, then 80, then 100, then 115, now 133. People are paying for these in a 9.8s. I To me, it just this has actually been steadily going up. I think it's probably pretty close to its peak now. It may come back down again. I think it's going to follow the trend similar to Spider Boy's first appearance. Um, so expect this to settle closer to like 75, 80 for a 9.8. But we're pretty close to raw value where it's going to be $20. I think that's fair to what you're going to find. I just really think there was a lot more interest than was printed. People didn't pre-order this, and stores didn't get enough copies to cover everything that was going to be purchased or wanted. One of the few times that a Batman book was not printed enough. All right, so we've got two books I got to pick here. Uh-oh, what we got? They'll be selling 9.8s for $60 in a few months. Well, probably. I'm thinking 80. I think it's 75 to 80 is where it's going to wind up settling. I mean, we should look up and see what Spider Boy first appearance is going for now. That's probably a pretty good indicator. It's following about the same trend. What do I want as a boom and a bust, or what used to be called gun to the head and rubber band to the butt? Which book do I think? Do I think any of these books is going to go up in value? If not, which one will decrease the least in value? Which one will I put the least amount of money at risk? Yikes. There aren't too many books that really, fill me with hope and inspiration on these lists lately. Uh, Current prices. Wow. I'm not seeing anything fantastic, guys. I know what books I'm looking for outside of this list, and they're not even in these same ballparks. I feel like I need to pause the video, but I can't because it's live. Yeah, it is. This is a tough one. All right. So, based on the fact that I really don't see hardly anything on this list that I think is a great investment, I guess what I would be doing if I were buying one, I might pull a trigger if I had to. I would pull a trigger and try to get a 9.8 for $100 even, as the last sale shows, for a Venom #1 because I don't have a 9.8. I'd say 17 busts and 3 hold value. You're being generous. I'm not the outliers, and the Batman Halloween is least likely to move. Yeah, I was thinking that, but I have to go by fair market value, don't I? Me personally, I don't think $100 is a terrible price for a Venom #1. I know it may go down a little bit, and there's 10 million copies of it, so it's never going to put your kids through college. If you can get the Batman Long Halloween for the regular $4, as Sticker Bun says, that's your least risked book. Now, what do I think is your biggest bust? Few candidates here. As much as I love the cover, I'm going to go with the Adam Hughes. And it's because this is just too similar to what we already have history on. and I think this is going to be down to $100 in the long run, and like 30, 40 for the raw. And it's a 1 in 100, but that's where I see this cover being. I think the other one anyway is a better cover, and it didn't hold value. And people knew to order this one more in advance. Papa, I'm curious, what do you think of the three that hold value? Maybe the second printing of the Batman Absolutes. I know you absolutely love the Wonder Man, right? So, Predator number one, I know you're thinking is going to hold value. Otherwise, you wouldn't have just purchased the book yourself. There's a good chance the I Love New York Vampirella holds value. I'm hoping it goes down because I want to get a copy. That's about it for some of these books here. So, all right. So I'm going to wrap this up because first off, we got daylight savings time, which is wonderful, getting an extra hour of sleep. But to my brain, it's now 10 o'clock at night instead of being 9 o'clock, and we have to get ready for. Um, I'd say Absolute Batman first print will hold value. I hope it does because I have, but um, based on just some other books that have followed the same pattern over the last couple of years, I don't think so. I'm thinking of the Ultimate Spider-Man, the first appearance of Spider-Boy, books along those natures that have held this top spot for a couple of weeks. I think it'll hold value, but I don't think it's going to hold the same value that it has. It's not going down to cover price. Don't worry about that. So if you got it at cover price, you're doing great. But anyway, guys, I want to wish everybody a wonderful night. Don't forget to tune in on Wednesday for New Comic Book Day. Got some books to give away. We're going to have some fun as we always do. And please, tomorrow, um, everybody just try to be safe. Everybody, please, regardless of who you vote for, just go vote. Everybody's vote counts. Everybody's vote matters. Everybody's opinion matters. Doesn't matter which side you vote for. Okay. Nobody is wrong. It's your opinion. Okay. That's the bottom line. Everybody's just trying to be tolerant with each other. And let's just try to make it to the next 4 years, one way or the other. Guys. I will see you on Wednesday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click on those notifications so you know when more videos are dropping. And until I see you on Wednesday. Mahalo.